I'm trying to 100% all the games I own. Join me as I start this journey as we'll be playing. Released in 2024, developed by Game Science, Black Myth Wukong was released on PC and PS5 with plans to release on Xbox in the coming year. Wukong is considered to be the game of the year for 2024, going on to sell over 20 million copies worldwide, making it the second highest selling game over Cyberpunk and Elden Ring. This is 100% of Black Myth Wukong, the movie. It all started when Sun Wukong upset the Celestial Code, who decides to send an army to take him down. Pretty badass, right? The game throws you into action by making you fight the leader, Erlang Shen, who loses his temper after getting his ass whooped by a monkey and decides to drop a nuke. Anyway, we dare him to fight in the jungle, but instead crash land into a mountain, where now our journey begins. Meet John Wukong, aka the Destined One. We are tasked with finding 6 different relics to bring Sun Wukong back to life.
One that shall recover all his scattered relics, and upon the return of the relics to Mount Tuaguo, he may yet rise again.
With that, we start the game, but this time with an HP, mana and a stamina bar, which runs out pretty quickly most of the time. We defeat a couple of wolves in the Wolves of Forest and proceed to meet the Shrine Guy.
I, the keeper of Black Wind Mountain, have long been waiting for your arrival.
Turns out whenever we die or are defeated, we respawn back at one of the shrines that we visited earlier. Spoiler, we will be visiting the shrines a lot. Moving forward, we encounter our very first boss fight, Bullguard. He whooped our ass, however, the shrine dude came to our rescue and gifted us our first spell, Immobilize. We defeat him and moved on to another area where John Wukong could upgrade his skills. Introducing the skill tree. I upgraded a few skills and onward we go to explore the rest of the forest. You might have noticed that there is no minimap in this game, which roughly translates to me being lost most of the time. On the bright side, we get to whoop wolves left and right, increasing our level slowly but steadily. Moving on, we find our first of many meditation spots, which upon meditating grants us a skill point. We'll be needing those a lot in the future, trust me. I then travelled outside the forest where we lit up another shrine, and after exploring, we stumble across another boss fight.
Another monkey, I see. Why don't you lay down your...
This will be very easy considering the amount of levels we have gained fighting those wolves. We died for a number of times, before finally we beat his ass and got his weapon as a reward. Turns out the weapon we've got lets us transform into the boss that we just fought. Anyway, after that tiring boss fight, we rang a huge bell and I made my way back to the shrine, healed myself and... Bruh. What? We just fought another boss. What? That's right. Third boss fight in a row. Also, he was a real bum because no matter how hard I tried to beat him, he always came out on top. Have this, you will have this, still have. How the fuck did I even die here? What? This game makes me realize how much I miss reality. But on my 51st attempt, let's go! I swear, I experienced a full spectrum of emotions while fighting this dude. And when he was defeated, I logged off, went to sleep and never looked back at this game for a couple of days. But like any toxic relationship I have had before, I had to come back to it. We traveled to Guanyin Temple where I bought some armor and lo and behold, another boss fight. This time we'll be fighting an overgrown white fox with temper issues. Anyway, we defeat the fox on our 5th try and collect our reward, which increases our health by a massive amount. Yeah, massive. Moving on, we lit up a shrine in the back hills and beat up some wolves, some frogs, and a crow, where we finally lit another one of those shrines in the snake trail. I rested a bit and fought a new enemy, Sneaky Boy. He gave me some trouble, but there's nothing John Wukong cannot handle. I then met an old man who shared some of his wisdom with us. He rambles on for some time before he steals our god, upgrades it so that we can transform into bosses we have defeated before, and hands it back to us. I instantly go back to the shrine and retrieve the boss we fought earlier, where I understand the blue flame that we saw after defeating the boss is its spirit. Now equipped, we can now attack with the best move by the boss by transforming into him. This saved my life a couple of times down the line. You'll see. Once that was done, I made my way deeper into the forest, fought some skeletons, and mistakenly dropped into a water area where I found that's Lam, aka Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Bring it on. I didn't know what I was thinking at the moment, but I'm pretty sure this will sum it up for you. Is this how Dark Souls players feel when they defeat a major enemy? Empty and devoid of all emotions? I dropped down this edge to find myself in a forest of skeletons, who I ran past at lightning speeds to wake them up from their slumber, so that I can farm these idiots for levels. What the fuck? He went invisible. What? Anyway, I slapped the calcium out of their bones and made my way to another boss fight
This
area.
humble one's name is Guangmo. Should my demise come by your hands, please pass this message to my master.
He has testes on his head.
Searching
What?
for death.
He is an ability based boss. I say this because I have been poisoned by this dude multiple times. However, we defeated him first try. First try, testes guy. Let's go. We rang the second bell and made our way to the next area, Marsh of White Mist, where we defeat a sneaky boy and meet our ancestral brother, another monkey. Turns out he's addicted to drinking. We upgrade our god and add a modification which enables our health recovery for a short time after we have used the god. Make sense? It does. Then I made my way over to a water area where we meet our next boss, White Clad Noble. This was the first boss which I had no problem defeating because of the amounts of time I have died to Wuthering White. That guy in particular, however, I am grateful he whooped my ass so hard at the same time. The paradox is real. Anyway, this is also the first boss in the game to have a phase 2 when defeated. That's it. What? We defeat him fairly easily. I then defeat a couple more idiots and make my way to a new meditation spot. When that was done, I made my way back to the place we fought the White Clad Noble and took a ride to enter into a secret area. Remember the bells that we have been ringing the past 2 times? Turns out ringing 3 bells teleports you into another dimension, where guess what? We fight another boss! This time we'll be fighting Wuthering White's brother, Elder Jinchi, who looks just like him, just weirder. Anyway, since we have had practice fighting the Wuthering White and his moveset is similar as well, we managed to defeat him in the first try. When that was done, we were showed a cutscene of him disappearing and then we were teleported back to the third bell, where we were given an option to examine something. At first, I believed that we are going to fight this fox, but instead we were given the fireproof mantle as a reward for the secret boss fight. Moving on, I made my way over to the next shrine, and this is where I meet someone who we all love and appreciate. Oh, Joragan is in the game? What? I would be lying if I said this fight was easy. I died a couple of times before defeating the Black Wind King, and when that was done, I was expecting a phase 2 for him. Instead,
bye, have a great time.
that's right, he flew away and challenged us to meet at the summit to fight him again. Now that I have downloaded his moveset, it'll be a piece of cake bringing him down the next time. Anyway, the shrine dude appears again and gives us one of his abilities, Cloud Step. Once that was done, I wander around the boss fight area to find a new curio and an awakened Wildworm. Not sure what that does yet, but we'll find it out later in the game. I watched steamrolling through chapter 1. except the Wuthering White fight, and I thought this game was going to be easy, but boy, I am going to be falling flat on my cheeks in some time. Moving forward, I clapped some idiots on the way to the summit and lit up another shrine outside the boss fight area. Remember me saying downloading his moveset and being confident about defeating him? Now that I have downloaded his moveset, it'll be a piece of cake bringing him down the next time. Yep, that is not going to work here. Why, you ask? See for yourself, viewer.
He once told me, out of sight, out of mind is a fool's task. Seeing but seeing through is what wise men do. But didn't he turn mad by what he saw too?
I died so many times to this grizzly bear. Oh my lord. This genuinely was one of the fights where things started to pick up pace and I started to wonder how tough are the next fights going to be like. Anyway, after several attempts, we finally brought out the giant bear and collected the relic that belonged to son Wukong. One of 6 total relics scattered around different biomes in the game. This one is the Bird of Wukong. And with that, we finished the first chapter of this game and are shown a cinematic which I thought is pretty cool. See for yourself or skip to this time on the screen for chapter 2.
白卷青，千般缘，色与空，弹指间。轮回路，有万次劫，求不得，闭上眼，一生功名忙如烟，浮沉落花断不绝。涅槃究竟寻常事，有情处不远。口中念，心中言，现世报，却方便。修行路，无名迹，翻动时，莫等闲。一生功名情如烟，最后人物在少年。最是萤火情失眠，谈真挚，看见。
Master, it still puzzles me. A monk's lust for gold should be quelled. Why does Elder Jinche still cling to that one Kasaya?
Bereft of that Kasaya, how shall they show the world their ties are cut and their lust is quelled?
Moving on, we start chapter 2 with an absolute banger of a song. You know what? Listen to these beats yourself and let me know in the comments down below if this dude deserves a Grammy.
华府六八百里，曾是官位富饶地。一朝舒缓凭空气，午夜朝气渺然气。
I saw myself riddled with arrows which the headless singer helps us with at start chapter 2. An unknown region with tons of new enemies to fight our way through, like a rat with a shield, or the rat with a staff, or ninja frogs. After walking a couple of steps, we encounter our first boss fight of chapter 2. But I decide it will be best to upgrade my armor first and then tackle the boss. Instead, I was sidetracked by a new option in the menu screen named Relics. Turns out, the bird we collected earlier gave us perks. 3 to be exact, but we still have to select one. I read about what these were, but instead of selecting one, I went back to the boss fight and thought it would be best to explore the area a bit first. Silly me. I took the route that led to a mushroom on the ground and an enemy popped out of the ground who slapped me harder than Will Smith. I respawned back at the shrine and onward we go to take revenge on the mushroom. Quick side note, every time we die or rest at a shrine, all the enemies that we have defeated spawn again. The pain is real. I came back prepared to defeat the mushroom and this time, gentlemen, we got him. Fighting him made me realize that I had to upgrade my armor, but instead I wanted to explore the area a bit more. And this is where I meet my arch nemesis in this chapter, the Rat Archer. I thought it would be best to ignore that area for now and return back to the intended path where we reach the Sandgate village. Let me pause the video for a moment. Did you notice something moving on the screen when the text appeared? No, right? I wasn't underestimating the word arch nemesis because these rat assholes are literally scattered everywhere, and that too on high ground as well. Thank you developers, that is exactly what I wanted. Moving on, I took a second to appreciate how well done this statue was built before entering a passageway that led me to a fox. I interacted with him and he asked for my help with a frog that swallowed his formula. And I know just the frog who might have swallowed your formula. I charged my heavy attack and hit him once, dodged a couple of hits perfectly, and this cycle continued until he swallowed me. What? I healed myself and changed my tactics for defeating this frog. If you don't attack first, let him attack first and you dodge and counter. This is probably Sun Tzu. And that worked like magic. I mean, look at this. It wouldn't have been more perfect than that. And with that, we earned ourselves the formula that we promised the fox and a couple of other rewards. I made my way over to the fox deity to give back the formula we legally won from the fox, and this is what he had to give us. He gave us 2 medicines. That's it. We fought a boss for this dude for 2 medicines. You know what? Forget it. Let's move on with the story. Fighting the frog made me realize that I was way too underleveled for this chapter. So I finally decided to upgrade my weapon and my armor. This monkey trips looks hard, bro. Once that was done, I wanted to explore the area a bit more. So we clapped the rat with a shield, the rat with a staff, some small frogs, and some rat archers on a cliff where eventually we discovered a new gourd that we can use named Lamprey. Trust me, I don't even look at the gourd options. We stick with the OG one that we were given at the start of the game, because all that matters is healing, right? That is absolutely right, my friend. A few minutes of wandering later, I found another meditation spot. So I meditated for a minute, earning myself another one of those skill points, and moved on to another area where I saw a new enemy. We clapped the rat with the staff and the shield rat before collecting a reward and moving on to fight the twin-headed buff rat. He hit hard. and I was almost on the verge of death. Just when I thought it was over, luckily I dodged away from the dude to heal when he exploded. Holy shit, the Wukong gods have blessed me with luck today. I dodged a couple of times to avoid arrows before defeating the second twin-headed buff rat. Again, on the verge of death, I sprinted away to a nearby wall which protected me from those rat archers. They were becoming a pain in my ass now. What were the devs thinking while placing these dudes on the high ground, man? The game's already tough enough to play and they add archers now? Trust me, this is a downhill slide, my friend. It'll only get worse from here. Anyway, I took out the archers on the cliff and moved on to defeat the archers on the building where I saw yet another boss. I went on to take him on, but I forgot I had no mana to use my skills. The result of this fight was pretty evident. However, we clutched the fight with the littlest of health remaining. First try, baby! Let's go! I healed myself to full health and investigated a nearby voice that has been calling out for help since an eternity. Turns out, this was the horse that we met in chapter 1. I did not show you that footage because it did not make sense in the overall context of things. But here we are, meeting for the second time. But before we go talk with the horse, I defeated a group of enemies and collected the spirit of the infamous rat archer. Now I can harass my enemies the same way he does, yeah? Anyway, we make our way over to the horse who is tied to a pole. He was asking for directions when the rat dudes tied the poor sword here. He asked me to leave and I went over to the shrine to upgrade my pending skill points. My plan was simple. If they clap me hard, we clap back harder. So I put most of my points in staff stances and left to explore the area where we meet another boss. We almost took him down in the first try. However, on the second attempt, we were successful in defeating the second prince. Let's go! I then traversed over to another shrine nearby and rested to bring my health and my mana back to full before going to explore the rest of this region. I entered a cave-like structure where I clapped a shield rat and a rat archer before unknowingly moving into a cutscene.
Your brother's gone. Help me and atone for your past now. I'm your father!
We collected a wine worm on the way to explore the area. However, it was pretty evident that we are to fight him anyhow. I'll skip the boss fight details from now on. We defeat him on the third try, granting us an Aharat. This will come in handy later in this chapter. Moving on, we clapped two of these. Anyway, we squeezed through a gap in the wall where we fought a rat bat and absorbed his spirit. We fought two more of those idiots and opened a chest which gave us an upgrade for our stamina bar and made my way over to the Crouching Tiger Temple. But the thing is, I hadn't explored the entire region and this definitely felt like another boss fight area. So I retraced my steps back to the shrine and found a button to interact with, but required sternness of stone and keenness of tiger to open the gate. We'll come back to it, don't you worry. While exploring, I found a bridge in the distance and decided that could be our way to a new area. And lo and behold, an unexplored region called the Fright Cliff. I fought a rock and more of those, you know what I'm talking about.
What? He was a retard. Retard.
Wait till I get my money right.
When that was done, I found a Buddha statue and collected his soul. This was a key item. We crushed tons of rocks, some rats and these things to make our way to another one of those Buddha statues and another one and another one. Before fighting the enemy, Rakushi. And no, that's not why I have named her Rakushi. That is because it's cool. We fight more of these. Why are these in the game, bro? What? Anyway, we make our way to a new shrine where while collecting another Buddha soul, hey yo! We crashed the pointy rock and fought another rat. Turns out this was a nomad rat named Spearboat. Anyway, there was a sand waterfall which didn't let me enter, but I persisted to find some button or some symbols to unlock this area. Alas, I have turned full psycho because of playing this game, finding solutions to problems nobody even asked for. I finally gave up after some time and found another area which had a pig resting on the side of a stone. When I talked with this dude, he was hammered and wanted us to find something to sober him up. We'll come back to him later, don't worry. I found another meditation spot and yet another area which clearly had its door open, which we can easily be able to enter, but was out of bounds for some unknown reason. Anyway, I made my way over to another area where I stumbled across the rock. We won on our first try and collected a key item, the sternness of stone, one of the two items used in opening the gate we saw earlier. Moving on, I thought it best to return to the main story area, but fell down in a ravine where we meet a mushroom head. He told us about a cave which turned people into those rock dudes.
In that cave, there's a rock boy lurking.
And asked for our help in bringing him back to the human form. I immediately went into the cave to find what he was talking about, and we fight the Mother of Stones. We defeat her and find the thing that a mushroom dude asked us to bring for him to turn him back to the human form. Turns out, he tricked us. He died because of his actions. We sucked up his spirit and thought it was best to return to the main storyline. I lit up another one of those shrines and made my way to a new boss fight area where we find some cadavers of rats or pigs on the stairs and a new meditation spot. When that was done, we made our way over to the next boss fight.
Bloody hell.
The setting couldn't be more perfect for such an amazing boss fight, man. We defeat him and the headless dude comes in clutch with some background music and a new ability called Rock Solid. We also get the keenness of Tiger as a reward which we will be using to open a gate. We'll go explore that in a bit. We find another button on top of the stairs which upon activating drains out all the blood from the pool into the tiger's mouth, revealing a new area that we can drop down into. This is normal. Jumping down a tiger's throat, I do that every day. We fight a bunch of dudes and collect a reward which increased our maximum HP. I found a secret area and slapped a bunch of birds including the civet sergeant, a spirit that we can absorb. You see, the reason I am being thorough with this at this point in time is because I took a look at the achievements in this game. There are a total of 81 achievements, including the one where you have to meditate at all the meditation spots, or the one where you have to scan or defeat all the enemies and the side bosses in this game. Anyway, we now have both the missing pieces to open up the gate which leads us to a new area where I defeat a couple of idiots and enter a passageway under a bridge. We'll come back here for a secret later in the game. When that was done, I crossed a bridge and saw a new enemy guarding something that we can collect. So, we clapped his cheeks and absorbed his spirit along with collecting the said reward. Easy peasy, bros. Upon making my way to a new shrine, the headless dude greets us with a song and plucks a hair from his armpit. Oh, gross. What? Which lands on our head, granting us an ability to make copies of ourselves. A pluck of many. Blowing strands into the air creates duplicates to assist in combat. Kagebushin no Jutsu. Anyway, I sensed another boss fight in the distance and thought it would be best to complete all the side missions in this area, which reminded me of the fat drunken pig slouching on the side of a rock. We greet him, but his reaction was the same as the last time. I ain't your errand boy, pig. Get up and get them yourself, you lazy bastard. I had no idea where to find these jars he was talking about, and I sure as hell didn't know where Windrest was. So I did what any sensible gamer in my position would do. Stray away from the objective until I accidentally stumble upon what was required. Turns out, the rock dude we defeated earlier had something of interest, like a foul-scented stone. Perfect for sobering up that drunken pig. How convenient. We bought the sobering stone and the golden dragon because it looked dope and made our way back to the pig to sober him up. I gave him the pills, but now he was hungry. He said that he is going to look for food at the tiger's temple. So I fast traveled to the tiger's temple and turns out he was already there. I mean, how? He hated the rats that the tiger was eating and instead demanded a jade lotus to eat. I had one in my inventory which I gave to him and he started to talk about the realm of gold and how we can find it. I teleported back to where I found the pig, and turns out he was angry at us for carrying the dragon statue that we bought earlier. I eventually clapped his cheeks where he appreciated the intensity of the fight, and later sneaks into the door where we couldn't enter before. How did he get in through that gap? What? Anyway, I made my way into the door where we were shown a cutscene of what exactly happened here. But that's something you can find about in your meantime, can't you? I rested at a nearby shrine, and lo and behold, another boss fight. This time we were fighting the tiger's boss. Light version to be exact, Tiger Vanguard. We clapped his cheeks and he asked us to use our strength to aid his king. Granted us entry into the kingdom of Sahali. I lit up another shrine and decided it would be best to explore the region. I found a couple of treasures before finally going to talk with the Rat King. He started banging on drums and out came a huge beetle. Fuban these nuts! Before fighting the boss, I explored the region and found a new meditation spot, and when that was done, I went over to have a chat with Fuban. My attacks did nothing to the big guy. How am I supposed to defeat him? It is going to take me years to take him down. Oh my lord. Fortunately, the Rat King plays some 808 and the beetle was unconscious for a minute, which gave me time to get the item we were after. Once collected, the Rat King came to aid us in battle, and together we defeated Fuban. Now back from the fantasy land, we were rewarded the Wind Tamer. I abide by the Buddha's decree. Here to subdue the yellow wind guai. I made my way to a nearby shrine to rest and took note of all the enemies that we have fought before, so that I can remember how many I haven't fought or encountered before. Remember, this is a 100% movie, not just a movie. Turns out I haven't found too many bosses in this area, and upon researching a bit, I assumed the location to be somewhere I haven't visited before. I explored the region for a full hour before finally reaching a new area. This was under my nose this whole time? What the actual You are right, my friend. This is the area where we fought the tiger boss. And just behind the statue was the area we are now about to explore. I fought some idiots, found something that we can use with our god, and fought some more dudes. This cycle keeps on repeating for a couple more times before we finally take down a new enemy, the rat in a kimono. Moving on, I finally found a new area, but it was guarded by 3 kimono rats, one of which we can defeat and absorb its spirit. When that was done, I finally discovered one of the 2 enemies that we had to find in order to complete the list of enemies we can find in this chapter. He gave us some troubles but was no match for John Wukong, slayer of bosses and explorer of regions. The fight came to a halt when we defeated him and were rewarded with an old battle drum, a secret item which helps us unlock yet another secret area. I made my way back to the area where we fought the Stone Vanguard, and since we have collected enough Buddha souls, we can interact with this pile of rocks to summon a new boss named Shigandang. I died once before we finally were able to defeat this boss with a cheeky dodge. This seems easy now that we have defeated tougher bosses before. That is surely right, my friend. I backtracked my way to the boss that we fought on the bridge, and whilst coming back, my screen turned blackish and I heard a child's voice in the distance pleading me to play the battle drum. Oh, here we go. Another boss fight is imminent, boys. Turns out the child tells us a short story about his father. No boss fight for you, my man. Anyway, coming back from the area we were in, I ventured under the bridge where I could hear the same voice that we heard before. I played the drums and he talked to me once again, but this time he insisted us.
Don't frown like that. Our village is fun.
No, John Wukong is on a trip to bring back Son Wukong. I figured that in the first chapter we had to ring 3 bells in order to go to the secret area, and as it so happens in this situation, we are to find one more of these spots. I travelled far and wide in search of the 3rd area, and luckily I stumbled across the area where we talked to the horse, which upon exploring, I heard a similar voice. A spirit? Another boss fight?
Huh? How did you even know I was here?
I didn't know you were here, my friend.
And I know of this place.
That now makes 3 of us.
Don't tell anyone, but I have a friend in this world. He helped me with my coughing fit.
That is a trap.
It's been so long. I hope his wounds have healed too.
I don't care about his wounds, child. This is a trap. Do not jump. That's fucked up, bro. Don't you watch horror movies, child? Every movie starts with a fucked up decision like what you did here. Geronimo! This is the boss fight I was expecting before, and as it turns out, the Mad Tiger is the brother of the Yellow Wind Guy. Anyway, I died a couple of times, which reminded me to craft new armor, and on this attempt, we finally defeat the Mad Tiger. While roaming around to find the third spot to ring the battle drum, I came across a hole in the wall which we could enter, but thought it'd be best to save it for later. Upon entering this Volusi, I collected a reward which gave us long scale, something that will be of tremendous help in our way to 100% completion. I then traveled to the area where we meet the pig and went over to the sand waterfall, which I could now interact with. My assumption was the long scale that we collected earlier led us to unlock this portion of this chapter. Upon entering, we were shown a cutscene of a new boss called as the Black Long. His fighting patterns were all over the place, but we managed to defeat him fairly easily on our 30th attempt. Who's counting, man? Once that was done, we were shown a cutscene of him disappearing into thin air and a reward for my effort. We got ourselves a thunderbolt. Not sure what that does, but we'll find it out soon enough. I went over to a nearby shrine, and while looking at crafting weapons, we found the use of thunderbolt moderately increases the damage dealt by all pillar stance moves. That sounds overpowered, man. While thinking about the fight we just had with Black Long, we had to unlock the area by interacting with a sand waterfall. And this made me remember an area in chapter 1 where I saw a waterfall as well. Out of curiosity, I traveled back to chapter 1 to reach the waterfall area. And lo and behold, curiosity is my strength, fellas! John Wukong's strength and my brain is the combo that we were missing all along. We enter the KOC to meet a blue dragon named Dreadlong. Not that makes much sense, but who are we to judge, right? As much as I would like to flex that we first tried this dude, it was all because we warmed up with Black Long. He's made this run possible for us. Anyway, we were rewarded for our efforts like before, and I made my way over to the final boss fight area where I opened up my journal to check how many enemies were remaining in my book, and turns out the final boss was the only one remaining now. Without any further ado, I walked into the sandstorm, and lo and behold, our final boss fight for this chapter. Isn't he the same dude who helped us defeat the beetle? Now he's turned against us? What? I had so many questions regarding this fight, but now what mattered is me defeating this fool, which we did on our first try. Just kidding, he whooped our ass for over 10 times before finally we were able to get him. And with that, we end chapter 2, and you can go straight to chapter 3 by skipping to this time on the screen, or watch this beautiful cutscene like the one we watched at the end of chapter 1.
头上烈日当下了，这就一关来到。
Men, beasts, Buddhas, Yaoguais. Each of them bears a distinct root from birth, superior and inferior. None should disturb what's decided. Am I right, Sun Wukong?
We start chapter 3 on an icy cold mountain where I discover the photo mode. This is so detailed, man. They even have the FOV and I can adjust the depth. What? Moving on, I slapped a bunch of dudes and made my way over to a boss fight area. Clapped his ass down to half his health where he disappeared into thin air. Where is he? Is this game bugged? The game isn't bugged, my friend. We'll get to meet the monkey later in the game. I made my way up the stairs, fought some idiots, and lured an enemy down the stairs to gain an advantage. Once that was done, I spotted a mini-boss in the distance who dropped my HP faster than Nicki Minaj. On my way back, I thought it best to take note of all the new enemies that we are to fight in this area. And turns out, there's 15 new lesser enemies, 12 new chiefs, and 5 main boss fights. Along with a ton of new characters we get introduced in this chapter. With that in mind, I retraced my steps back to a new area which had some rewards. Once that was done, I jumped into a cutscene and was introduced to a bird with a human face. We flew over scenic mountains and reached a new shrine. I thought it best to lay off the path for now because I still had to deal with the mini-boss who killed me before. So, I teleported back to the shrine and reached the mini-boss area where we defeat the dude and absorb its spirit. Another one down for the books. With that done, I decided it was best to continue with the main storyline. I was greeted by a child who held a sack which upon throwing into the air spawned a goddamn dragon. This was a trap and we walked right into it. This is it. John Wukong versus White Long. You already know who won on his first try. The dragon, now defeated, broke the ice we were standing on and I was now teleported into a new area called the Pagoda Realm. This sure is going to be a mindfuck for anyone playing this game. We broke out of our jail cell and what is happening? Who the f are those dudes, bro? We defeated those idiots and reached a new shrine where I discovered why is my health bar so low? I got a new staff and went into a cave-like structure to collect a curio. I went up the stairs and used the photo mode to scar the area we were in right now because I was pretty confused with the layout of this region. I went up the stairs again and lit up a new shrine, and while exploring the upper levels of this region, I stumbled across something interesting. Is that a boss fight? I upgraded a few of my abilities and went over to fight this boss called Captain Lotus Vision. His attacks were crazy. However, we managed to defeat this boss without taking a single hit. First hitless boss. That does not count. We absorbed his spirit and made my way back to the upper levels. I eventually found a bridge that we can cross and went over to fight a mini-boss, Fungi Head. I'm not kidding, that's what they named the dude. Anyway, I cloned myself to fight this dude while I went and collected a reward and found a new area which led out of this region. Thank God this is over! A sigh of relief was indeed the reaction expected by this place. Moving on, I lit up a new shrine and entered the bell-like structure we saw earlier to fight our very first boss fight of this area, named Captain Vice Voice. This was a rave party if we had the proper music for it, because his attack includes beams of light shining from his head. Anyway, we slap him out of existence and poke his head with our staff to absorb his spirit. I collect a few rewards and appreciate how well done the setting for this boss fight was. This is thumbnail material for sure. After that short photo session, I was making my way over to the next shrine, but instead was sidetracked with a secret passage behind the reward. Curious about what it was, I followed the track to clap an enemy and discovered a hidden meditation spot. When that was done, I backtracked my way, collected the reward and lit up a new shrine in the snow-veiled trail. Moving on, I crossed a bridge to find a boss fight like area. Instead, I was prompted to enter a doorway which led me to a temple of some sort. Clueless about what this was, I checked every nook and cranny but came out empty-handed. I figured this might be worth investigating later in this chapter and left the place to light up a new shrine in the warding temple. I skipped going into the temple to explore the new region that we were in and opened a treasure, took down a plant, a bird and some dead zombies to make my way over to defeat the bird chief and absorb his spirit. I spotted a bridge in the distance and crossed it over to collect a treasure and dropped down a ledge to make my way back to the warding temple. I entered the temple to find the monkey we fought earlier and the dude who upgraded our gourd, chilling in a ring of fire as an audience for the fight that was about to go down. We defeat the monkey who disappears into dust. How he be doing that? Man. We chill with the old dude in his ring of fire and he was so impressed he gifted that ability to us, saying that it may come in handy for future fights. As soon as we absorbed the ability, the old man disappeared and we activated the ability for our use. A fiery circle drawn by the staff can provide rapid recovery within it. It heals? Let's go! We collect a nearby reward and head into a cutscene where we are shown sliding down a mountain and sneak behind a rock to overhear the pretty lady having a conversation with someone trapped inside the saucer looking thing stuck between two rocks. We smacked the gold saucer a couple of times and out came a big turtle. Oh, some major shit is about to go down, boy. Turns out we were going to fight the pretty lady on the back of this giant turtle. Her attacks were simple at first, but once brought down to half HP, her hair changed to white and her attacks went from 0 to 100 real quick. We died a couple of times but came out on top as I missed my signature move but got her just the same. She transformed into the dragon we fought before and we went after her, jumping on her back and throbbing our stuff into her to keep our balance. I know this sounds weirdly sexual, trust me. It is not. We bring her down and she crashes into the saucer thingy, knocking it open for our fellow to climb out of. Ho 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 ho! He looks badass, bro. Oh, wait, what? Look at the size of this. I wanted to jump inside the saucer for some unknown reason but was unsuccessful in doing so. So I did the next best thing. I went to explore the turtle's back to completion. I slapped some dudes, some plants, and collected some rewards on the way to light up a new shrine in the area. I crafted new armor for John Wukong and set out to explore the region, dropping down to fight another one of those dragons. This one is named the Cyan Long. We defeat the dragon, earning ourselves a reward which spawned after the dude disappeared into thin air. I went over to our little buddy and turns out the turtle was his friend all along.
My old friend!
He guided us to the island we were on before teleporting into the pagoda realm. We light up a new shrine on the north shore of the Bitter Lake and made my way over to a nearby temple to help a traveler being harassed by birds. Once that was done, I talked with the dude and he mentioned a secret area that we can go to once we find all the clues. We collect another gourd that we won't be using and made our way back to the shrine we visited earlier. I saw some skeletal remains of some unknown animal in the distance and thought it was worth checking out. And as it so happens to be, our little buddy tells us that this is the Snake General, a friend of our giant turtle. There was something that I could interact with, but instead was sucked into a cutscene which introduced a golden bat named Abramana. We clapped his ass with the help of our clones and he flied off into the distance, never to be seen again. I interact with the Snake General's remains and the giant turtle turns emotional when he sees it himself. Moving on, I make my way into a cave to find a new shrine across the bridge and then meditated at a nearby spot. I collected some treasures on the way to slap a mini boss who later we absorb and make my way over to the structure in the middle of the area to meet.
Oi kid, you look suspicious.
He shows us the direction that we are to head in the form of a puzzle.
No true heart, the path is sealed. With true heart, it's revealed.
And the puzzle here is to pay our tributes to various Buddha statues scattered across this area. We find them pretty easily, and once they were all found, our little buddy teleported to the summit and let us to roam this area freely. You see, the reason we were able to find those Buddhas without any resistance is because we clapped multiple enemies beforehand under the name of exploration, unknown to the fact that this may come in handy later. Anyway, we make our way to the top and find a path that leads to a huge staircase which exits inside a cave. I light up a shrine and fight a boss named Non-White. What kind of a name is Non-White, bro? You might as well call him Black, right? I haven't shown you the transformation. Here's what it looks like in a fight. We clapped the dude and he disappeared into thin air. I climbed up another one of those staircases and walked through some passageways. Eventually, Non-White, we meet again. This time, I made sure that he did not run away. We absorbed his spirit and meditated for some time before sliding down a slope along with the golden bat we fought earlier into the Valley of Ecstasy. I lit up another shrine and talked to a dude near the entrance who asked us to complete a quest for him. Turns out, this may have been the same fox that we saw in the last chapter's cutscene. Or not. I turned back to John Wukong to slap some idiots and explored the area until I found a new shrine in the distance to use the ability points that we have been collecting. Once that was done, I explored the region for a bit until we found a mini-boss named Non-Able. In his first phase, he had his hands tied behind his back, making it easier for us to clap his cheeks. But in his second phase, he breaks those bonds and is still as easy as he was before. Maybe I am getting better at this game. I absorbed his spirit and made my way over to a water body. Upon following the stream, I found another mini-boss that we have already fought in chapter 1. You know, the crow dude. We won and absorbed his spirit to then make my way over to the shrine where we meet the fox spirit to follow the pathway which was actually intended for us to follow to the main storyline. We clap some idiots along the way and meet another one of those frog bosses. This time, we are fighting Lang Li Gu Lang. Interesting choice of naming this boss system. I love it. Interesting choice indeed. I headbanged the dude using the transformation spell, and once that was done, I made my way over to a new shrine in the Tower of Karma region where we meet the traveler who was in need of some fire. I immediately went back to the shrine, swapped out a spell for the Ring of Fire and came back to warm the dude using our spell. He felt good and talked to us about the treasure of watermelon planted under the cliff somewhere. We'll figure that out later in the game. Don't worry. Moving on, I found the Bosch Mushroom dude who after defeating we were rewarded a chest piece called the Ginseng Cape. I collected another drink that we could use with our gold and also collected the Mushroom dude's spirit. Now locked and loaded with confidence, I traveled through a gate-like structure to slap a bunch of dudes and a big boy to eventually make my way to a new shrine in a brand new region called the Longevity Road. I defeated another one of those big boys. This feels exactly like the moment where Kratos defeats the dragon and stands tall while he falls in front of him. Why is this dude staring into my soul? When that was done, I made my way over to a fallen statue of some sort and was prompted to absorb its spirit. Turns out this was a key item in the game that we could later use to complete another achievement. You will see. Once that was done, I made my way over to something which looked way too similar to the Eye of Sauron from the Lord of Rings, of course, and once close enough to it, it transformed into a boss that we are now able to defeat. I continued my undefeated streak with scoring another first try boss fight using the clothes and absorbed its spirit. I went into my journal to check how many enemies are yet to be found, and in this chapter, turns out we were mainly done with the major boss fights of this region. The only remaining ones are the 2 of the normal enemies and 4 chiefs. When that was done, I made my way over to the new Thunderclap Temple, a region which I truly hate with all my life. I lit up a new shrine and slapped a bunch of dudes collecting rewards as I made my way over to the monk from the sea. I slapped him across the face using a transformation and we were able to collect his soul to use as another transformation to use in combat. Transforms into monk from the sea, weaving strikes with the blizzard's grace and launching attacks that inflicts frostbite. Frostbane. Nah, I'll stick with fire for now. We slapped a new enemy and it rewarded us with a new headgear that we can use in combat. Since I have made tremendous progress in the main story, I thought it was now time to explore the region and find the treasure that the traveler mentioned to us before. I traveled to the area where we fought the crow dude and found fire lit over an edge of a cliff, exactly like the traveler mentioned before. I jumped, hoping to die from the fall damage, but instead found shelter at a nearby shrine called the Melel Field. I knew I was in the right place now. I entered the cave-like structure and lo and behold, another boss fight. This time we'll be fighting the green-capped martialist, who would have been an excellent part of a circus. Alas, he tipped our fight through a teleporter that is spawned, and that was the last that we saw of him here. The area that we were in transformed into a whole new place, and we were greeted by the child we met before, and he gave us a new spell called the Spellbinder. This is one of the best spells that we get in this game, in my opinion of course, because it disables every other spell that we can use for extra damage. I teleported back to the main area that we left earlier and transformed into the fox to complete his quest as well. We walked into a temple as the fox, and turns out it was another one of those boss fights, and he was called as the Non-Void. I slapped him into another dimension and collected his soul, completing yet another side quest in this region. Do you remember the souls of captains that we have been collecting throughout this chapter? As it so happens to be, we have talked to an NPC before, where we collected a sword from a dude's chest and went over to talk to the depressed dude. He mentioned those 4 captains were his loyal soldiers, but now they have gone crazy and asked us to defeat them and bring back their souls for a reward. That is exactly why we are here now. I gave back the souls that we collected from the captains, and he rewarded us with a new weapon material that we can use in crafting a new weapon, which upon crafting...
that's hot. That's hot.
When that was done, I teleported back to the area we were in and climbed some stairs to meet a 4-legged dude who we defeated and absorbed his spirit to know that this was the Clay Vajra. I took a second to appreciate the environment in this game while I walked into a boss fight with 2 giant dudes standing on either side of the staircase. We defeat them both and thought this was the area where we are to transform into the fox to complete his quest, but instead was met with a side boss named Non-Pure. We absorbed his spirit and our undefeated run is going wild right now. Truth be told, I had no idea how I made this far without dying. I found a meditation spot in the same room, and when that was done, I climbed those stairs that the giant dudes were guarding and made my way to a new shrine in the Mahavira Hall. This definitely seemed like a major boss fight area, and surely it was one. We were to fight the child we saw earlier. That's our main boss fight. Psych! We were catfished into thinking this was a child. Like the predators on the internet, the child magically turned into an old dude with hanging titties who called himself the Buddha of the future. I am not kneeling before you, shithead. There was no way I was going to let this kid get the better of me. So I slapped his belly and went into phase 2, or so I thought. What? The bald idiot pulled out a cheeky move by throwing his sack in the air and sucking us into it. When that cutscene was done, he was shown creepily looking into the sack as we fall deeper into it. This right here, my friends, is peak cinema. Turns out our little dude was already here as well, fighting the monkey that we defeated earlier, and now we had to defeat him all over again. The little dude was the one who defeats the monkey, and later we were shown another cutscene where John Wukong was magically transformed into the monkey that we were just fighting. The old man's hand was seen reaching into the sack, picking us up and dropping us on his so-called miniature line, where we had to make our way through a bunch of clay models which break when we attack. Making my way through a passage, I drank a Red Bull, which gave me wings, and I was now able to slide through air. A handy ability indeed. Finally, I reached the place where we see the old dude spawn into the boss fight area, and we transformed back into John Wukong, ready to beat some sense into him. He whipped our ass left and right, but I had to protect my winning streak at all costs. This was a life or death situation for me, and I was not going to be the one who died here. With that unknown motivation in the moment, I did everything that was necessary to clap the old man on the littlest of health remaining, and all I had to say here was easy. This probably was because of the adrenaline rushing through my veins, which made me immune to being defeated. Imagine how long this streak is going to be for, because from this point onwards I continued playing for a long time. with that, we finish chapter 3 and are shown a cutscene where the old man falls into ice cold water, who also carried the relic that we were after. Fortunately, the child appeared who helped us to retrieve our relic, and with that, we officially end chapter 3. But wait, there is more to this chapter. I thought it would be best to go check on the temple that we found earlier, but instead I backtracked all the way back to the first shrine village in this area and found another dragon dancing in the sea. We clapped the dude and he mentioned that he was getting old and wanted one of Zoodog's resurrection pills to save him from old age. So I traveled back to chapter 2 to talk to the fox dude we met earlier and crafted the thing that the old dragon asked us to bring for him. He gifted us a painting which teleported us to the painted realm where all the deities that we have met along the way gathered together. Like the monkey we met in chapter 1 who helped us upgrade our god using the Luya fragrant wine along with upgrading our drink to level 5. We also meet a new character in the game named Yin Tiger. Turns out he had the best drip that we can use in this game along with some nasty looking weapons of mass destruction.
Head sharpened, arm restless. I was looking for someone to test it. Mark me. This blade is cast from the best metal. Don't blame me.
Here we go! Our undefeated streak held strong as we clapped the tiger, earning us his weapon and an ability to transform into him in combat. Once the tiger was defeated, we got the option to enable yet another curious slot for John Wukong. I also talked to the dragon we gave pills to, and turns out he was a farmer. We delivered seeds to the dude which he planted in pots scattered around in the region. When that was done, I went over to the fox dude and crafted some celestial medicines which increased our health bar, and this is the point where we unofficially end our chapter 3. I'll play the ending cutscene, however you can skip to this time on the screen if you wish to continue watching from chapter 4. Here we go.
tarried in the mortal world for a good while, didn't you? Speak clearly.
Once again, I proved it to you, Jin Shanzu.
You chose a means to an end, not to a proof. You sow chaos in hearts just for the sake of winning. How absurd and pathetic.
If not for winning, why debate over means and ends?
We start chapter 4 in a jungle, where upon traveling a bit, we meet our first boss fight of this area, the second sister, who transforms into a spider. She can transform as well? What? We slapped her out of existence and she throws a needle at our little buddy, who went after her, frustrated by what she said to him. We collect an awakened wineworm and an upgrade to increase our maximum HP before jumping in a hole in the ground, teleporting us to the webbed hollow, another area which I truly hate with all my being. I collect a new curio and light a new shrine in the upper hollow. I collected some rice cocoons that will come in handy later down the line, along with a new curio called the spine in the sack. I took down an enemy and absorbed his spirit, eventually making my way to a new shrine. I clapped a scorpion, collecting a new drink along with his spirit to make my way over to collect the Luia fragrant wine. Upon exploring a bit, I collect a new drink in a nearby hut called as the Worry Free Brew, along with removing a talisman from a nearby structure and lit a new shrine in the middle hollow. I meditated for some time and absorbed yet another spirit called the Puppet Spider, eventually making my way to 2 lanterns screaming "Big Day" on repeat.
Big day! Big day!
I heard there's a great treasure hidden within.
You don't have to tell me twice, woman. I collected a bunch of rewards from the cave and slapped the boss to earn Proto Amorworm, a key item towards 100%ing this game. The reason I am skipping a lot of content in this chapter is because I was too focused on completing the main story along with some exploration, and the thought of 100%ing this game slipped my mind because I started to enjoy the lore way too much. I lit a new shrine in Bone Vault and found an area which looked spooky. What are you going to throw at me now, game? We defeat the centipede boss with the help of our clones and absorb his spirit, eventually making my way to remove another talisman and light a new shrine on the cliff of Oblivion. These shrines sound so ominous, man. Sheesh. I found a hand holding a mirror of some sort who turns out to be the Buddha's right hand. We slapped him for being named this way and he fell, creating a bridge for us to cross over. I crossed the bridge collecting an upgrade which increases our maximum mana and made my way over to an overwatch where we see our little buddy following the second sister to meet their mother. When the cutscene was done, I squeezed through some rocks to find a new meditation spot and made my way over to light a new shrine in the lower hollow and made my way back to the meditation area where I saw a hidden path that led to another one of those frog bosses. We clapped his cheeks, earning ourselves the Bodhisattva's left hand, which will come in handy later in the game, and lit up a new shrine in the Hut of Immortality, entering the area that we saw in the cutscene before. And this is the moment where we fight our little dude. We dominate the fight using our clones and he flies away to another area, which we follow him to, resulting in another boss fight with our little buddy. He transformed into phase 2, turning into a fish and a rhino before finally we brought down the giant beast. The needle is removed from our little buddy, freeing him of the spell that he was under, but unfortunately for him, he was grabbed by the spiders. I lit a new shrine in the purifying spring and collected another skandha. Not sure what that does yet, but we'll figure it out later. I headbanged a new enemy and absorbed his spirit along with defeating another scorpion dude on our way to light up a new shrine in the gathering cave. As a matter of fact, our little buddy had a past with the mother of spiders, and this is her way of taking revenge for what he had done in the past, in the form of eating him. Weird flex, but Okay, we reveal ourselves from the shadows and the boss fight begins. We clap the old hack for our buddy and a wave of spiders entered the area that we were fighting in. I ran for my life as they came closer and closer, eventually falling down a rock and being saved by one of the spider sisters who teleported us into a new area. I collect a Luia fragrant wine and light a new shrine in the temple of yellow flowers. I then collect a new drink and slap a bunch of dudes before making my way over to... What is that? A tiger? A snake? A sneaky tiger? What? Bamboozled by what I saw, I cloned myself and went over to take him down, where I discovered that he is just another normal enemy. I eventually made my way to a new shrine in the Forest of Ferocity and found a new mini-boss called the Beetle Commander. We slapped him out of bounds and collected a new curio before lighting up a new shrine called the Temple Entrance. While fighting one of the insect-looking thingy, we were rewarded another curio, and when that was done, I took a second to meditate at a nearby meditation spot. I clapped a mini-boss and absorbed his spirit along with collecting an awakened wineworm before talking with the old dude. I slapped a bunch more dudes before lighting a new shrine in the Court of Illumination where we find the main structure with the same talisman that we have been removing. Unfortunately for us, we haven't completed this yet. That's on me. I collected a nearby reward which gave us a new medicine and unknowingly made my way into a cutscene. This is the final boss, right? It indeed was the cheeky final boss, and I thought of completing the talisman side mission before moving on. And while doing that, I stumbled across a new region that I can enter and fought a scorpion and lit a new shrine. Since we have defeated all the previous dragons before, we can fight the Yellow Long, and since we were on the mini streak, I transformed into Yin Tiger and defeat him on my first try. When that was done, I luckily found the final talisman on the way back to the final boss fight area to trigger the final talisman, and lo and behold, I was going to fight a hand, and when that was done, he pinned me down and we get to know that we have meshed with the Celestial Court's business. And because we are a monkey, they regrettably had to leave knowing that they cannot do shit. Anyway, I traveled back to a new area and found a meditation spot along with lighting another shrine in the Pool of Shattering Jade region. I made my way into a cave through some ball sacks and found a much bigger ball sack hanging from a tree. What am I walking into, bro? Oh! Odd cocoon. We might as well hit the ball sack for a few times then, right? You know what would be funnier? Instead of one monkey hitting the ball sack, we spawn 5 more. That sentence hurt me mentally, but we eventually drop him down to half HP where a dude drops.
Superhero landing! Yeah, that's really hard on your knee.
Who is seen to have 8 arms, and when the fight was over, he was shown to have 4 arms, probably because he didn't need those extra in the first place. Anyway, I made my way back to the final boss fight area and went through a temple, eventually making my way to a slope which had the same boss that we fought before. This time, he started with 4 arms and ended on 2 in his second phase or third? I don't know. When he was defeated, we were shown a cutscene where the dude points to a wall and a secret area is unlocked called the Purple Cloud Mountain. I crossed a bridge and meet a new enemy. What's your name, man? I am Groot. Nice to meet you, Groot. What do you do? I am Groot. That's alright. However, I am asking, what do you do? I am Groot. After those glorious shenanigans, I defeated the dude and absorbed his spirit, eventually making my way to a new shrine and collecting a new curio called the Celestial Registry Tablet before lighting up a new shrine in the Petalfall Hamlet, eventually meeting an NPC who at the time I had no idea was a side mission. Ultimately, I made my way back to the top of the mountain and found the heart, like the final boss in the Slay of Spire, which burst and out came a boss named Duskwale. His moveset was similar to that of the angry overgrown fox, and when we brought him down to half health, the scorpion spawned in the arena, who fought as if we had a common enemy. Anyway, when the Duskwale was defeated, he triggered his second phase, and we get an achievement for clapping all the scorpions in this region. When that was done, I clapped the Duskwale using the transformation, headbanging into getting yet another achievement for defeating the big dongus. A snake lady appeared and gave us a needle after brushing it over the Duskwale's head for some unknown reason, and was teleported back to the main area. I fast traveled back to the Painted Realm to go meet all the deities and fight Yin Tiger once more. But the main reason I was here was to harvest the crops we have planted the last time I was here. For an achievement, Happy Harvest. I also bought some celestial medicines from the fox, increasing our max stamina by a massive amount. Now that's what I love to see. This upgrade is so worth it, my man. Holy. I then take a second to look at all the enemies that we have defeated before and the ones remaining. I took inventory of this because for now I'll be progressing with the story, getting to the area where we fought the final boss. I managed to bring the boss down to half HP when he took things to the next level in his second phase.
Die in the light and the sight of my eyes!
He was a real dingus because he kept disappearing and reappearing in the fight arena, but eventually I managed to sneak in a cheeky dodge, resulting in our victory. Finally! This boss was so stressful, dude. Oh my lord. With that, we end chapter 4, earning ourselves yet another relic to bring back Sun Wukong back to life. And you can skip to chapter 5 using this time on the screen, or stick around to watch yet another episode of Black Myth Wukong's anime featuring our little buddy.
汹涌如潮流，忐忑似轻舟，有你相伴，这一路多么多么自由。云卷云舒风起，一周从立春到立秋，在那一刻我爱上你的所有。忘了是心田的沟，记得是老套的酒，指引是相拥无言，愿天黑画到你总会说不够。这一路多么多么无忧，晚上朝露昙花苍狗，也不过白昼。听错了风，又怎么会有以后？飘渺似轻舟。放手这一路可怜了有多久？安心或者哀愁，绽放或者不朽，永远无分下一世无回眸。真情难留，假意未够。相守，今生有求，下一世相遇，情节再会。
We start chapter 5 with our buddy smashing the out of this zombie dudes and we are thrown straight into action to take these boys down. Once that was done, our little buddy teleports into the distance, leaving us to explore the area. I open a door and fight a chonky dude, eventually lighting a shrine in the Ashen Pass. I booped an enemy off of a cliff in 3, 2, 1, and we have liftoff. POV, mama bird watching her children fly. Tough but fair. I took in the sights of an epic fight in the distance and noticed the fireballs that were falling from the sky were actually being thrown at them by a creature on top of the hill. What the fuck is that? Everybody was in a fighting mood today because we stumbled across a mini boss who I slapped willy-nilly and was given an option to interact with. But since there were enemies in the region, I could not talk with him just yet. So we clapped those remaining idiots and returned back to the NPC we fought earlier, who tells us about 5 elemental cards that we have to take down to unlock a secret area. I collected some rewards and walked up the stairs to fight the creature that we looked at earlier. Turns out this was one of the 5 elemental cards that we are to take down in order to unlock the secret area. With that in mind, I broke the wheels off of this card dude and lit up a new shrine in the camp of season to eventually make my way up some stairs to clap some idiots and collected a reward which gave us a new drink and lit up another shrine in the distance called Height of Ember. You know, this feels too calm right now. I mean, there's not been a boss fight in about 20 minutes, dude. Oh, why do I even talk, man? I attacked his knee and absorbed his spirit, eventually assaulting a cat to be rewarded a new headgear and a medicine in the loot box along with a Luia fragrant wine on the way to open a gate. This seems like a whole new area. Hey, what? Who is Grey Bronze? Oh, I took a proper look to confirm what he looked like and went over to slap him across the face, making my way over to a brand new boss fight, the Rolling Stone, and a Dongus. We stopped the stone from rolling and pooped the Dongus behind his head. What is that reaction? We fought those dudes to save yet another fox who transformed into a girl, asking for our help to save her father. I lit up a new shrine and spent some skill points to upgrade John Wukong, eventually making my way through some rocks to see. This really seems like a well-designed level, man. Oh! That's her father? But he's a bull and she's a fox. Excuse me? We followed the fox over to a cliff and decided to bungee jump into the hole without a rope to reach the Furnace Valley. I am so glad the game didn't just reset me because I jumped out of bounds for some unknown reason. I almost died to some rocks and made my way through some lava to find a string that we can pull, and turns out this was a missable achievement because we didn't meet the horse dude in the previous chapter. But don't worry, we'll keep the achievements aside for now and focus on completing the story. I clapped a dude with a shield and absorbed his spirit, eventually making my way to a new boss fight area. This time we were fighting Misty Cloud and Cloud Mist. Now you definitely understand that the devs were bored at this point of time to name these bosses in the late game. I died the first time, but eventually won against the two of them, absorbing their spirit and making my way to write a new shrine in the Rakshas Palace, collecting a new reward which granted us extra mana. That's a chonky upgrade, boys. Let's go. I slapped some dudes and made my way into a cutscene where we transformed into a bug and watched the fox talk to his mum along with a random dude in the room. The random dude raised up the fox's mum, but his dreams were shattered when... Oh shit! The random dude was pissed and was introduced to us as the next boss fight. He dropped something from the bowl that he was holding and the entire region changed to black and white. Nevertheless, I dropped his HP faster than he could imagine and he turned into a horse that we have been meeting in between chapters, who after defeating, we triggered his phase 2.
Now, you shall be feasted upon by my yin-yang fish.
It took me a minute to download his moveset, however, once that was done, I deep fried the fish in attacks coming in from all sides. When that was done, I was teleported back to the area we came from and collected yet another drink to make our way to fight yet another card. We slapped the wheels of this dude and lit up a new shrine to fight the 9-capped Ling Ji Guai. I clapped him faster than Usain Bolt and made my way over to a meditation spot overlooking the giant buffalo dude, to then dodge a rolling spike ball to collect a new medicine and meet the fox girl we met before. She flung her fan blowing off the fires lit on the mountain, which gave us access to the giant buffalo dude and lit a new shrine. I travelled back to the painted realm and crafted some new drip for John Wukong along with a new weapon to travel back to the boss fight area to fight.
Father, I brought him here. It's the destined one. Brother is not around. You can hand it over to him now.
You are not my daughter.
Worry not, old born fool. I'll see to it shortly. You could have enjoyed a good show.
Mark my words when I say this was a tough one to defeat because he had a range of attacks that I had to dodge and run away from, but eventually we slapped the red boy across the face to teach him some manners. He was defeated and then the buffalo dude handed out the relic that we were after until the red boy steps in again and eats the relic, granting him immense power, and this is the moment where shit hits the fan for me.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I died a couple of times, but we got him nonetheless. Right here, we end chapter 5. I know I have missed a lot of achievements and bosses in this one, well, we'll be coming back to it in the new game. Plus, you can skip to this time on the screen to jump to the final chapter in this game or watch this cutscene to understand the friendship between the bull and son Wukong.
You've atoned through deeds, Black Bear. Take this pair of eyes. You've served the righteous cause, Yellow Rat. These ears are yours. Your power has gathered immune, Yellow Brow. Keep this nose. You've endured hardships under the eye. Go with the tongue. And the bull, it is the hardest to turn against a sworn brother. You can have his body.
Wretched bull, your luck plagues your every step. Never have you made a good choice.
Save your strength, brother! We yet to slay our way to the court and seize that senile emperor! This one must be the chief of their troop. Brother, watch my back while I go play with him!
Your reluctance is plain, just like my own. They forced me to drink from the river of childbearing, to bear that boy in my womb. If not for that monkey, we could have lived our separate lives in peace. As if none of this had happened. You old coot! You knew who I was from the start. Why did you choose to be their lapdog? I never wanted to sever our ties. If kinship means anything to you, give me that relic and let me avenge my people. My king! Let the monkey have my fan, and there will be no trouble.
Your brother, I've disciplined. Your boy, I've given away. Your wife's fan. Today, I'll take it with me too. Find a master and serve the right. It's the only path left for the likes of us. Don't you understand, brother?
Wukong! I took out the bull's concubine with a whack of my rake too! Turned out, she was a fox squire!
The way I saw it, with enough merit and a position before the Buddha, they would leave me be, and all of you as well. Now I see, for someone like me, staying alive is enough to be a transgression. Brother, take care of your wife and children. And remember, steer clear of my remains.
We start chapter 3 on the same mountain that we saw Sun Wukong crash into while fighting Erlang Shen. However, in this chapter, since we are very close to finding all the 6 relics to revive Sun Wukong, we are being targeted by the Celestial Court's army. They spawned in and we clapped them, making my way to a new shrine where I crafted a new armor which looked like the boss that we just fought in the last chapter. And when that was done, I walked into a boss fight area to fight the Supreme Inspector once again. We tapped him up and he took us for a ride in the air where we snapped his wrist and unlocked
Fortune raccoon's gift it is!
I clapped one of the hippos in the river to unlock his portrait in my journal and made my way over to a dude sitting on the edge who turns out to be the son of the stones. It was yet another perfect boss fight and I took flight to search for new bosses in the area to find yet another frog dude who we defeat pretty easily and make our way over to the mountain where lightning was being struck. Turns out we were going to fight a rhino who did not prove to be much of a nuisance because of his set attack pattern, and with a timed heavy strike I was able to take out his horn along with his health bar at the same time, earning myself Sun Wukong's chest piece. I travelled over to the second location where lightning was being struck, and here we fight a deer where we defeat him using the same tactic that we used with the golden rhino, which rewarded me with leg armor. I found a grasshopper in the distance and was able to interact with something on his head, who turns out jumps and throws you off his back. I had to do this multiple times, but finally we grabbed his antennas and somehow defeated the dude, earning the headgear. I then travelled over to a yellow tree where we meet a mantis who jumps into our little buddy's belly and we follow him down his throat. He was on his last bit of health where he pulled out a cheeky move and defeated us. The next time though, gentlemen, we got him. This time we were rewarded with the last piece of armor, completing Sun Wukong armor set. When that was done, we were instructed to follow our little buddy into the water curtain cave where we discover the staff of Wukong. I travelled to the top of the mountain but remembered the temple that we found earlier in chapter 3. And now that we were almost done with the entire game, I thought it best to check it out. I found something different when I entered the temple now, because the drawings on the wall have increased, which resembled with the secret areas that we may have unlocked before. Since the only secret area we left behind was in chapter 5, I travelled back to the area and talked to the dude who told us about the 5 card. I found him again near the Emerald Hall Shrine, and while exploring, I found a new region along with a new mini-boss called the Flint Vanguard. I clapped his cheeks and made my way deeper into the region to find a new shrine called the Cooling Slope, and made my way into a new boss fight area where we will be fighting the final card to hopefully unlock the secret area. I slapped him along with our clones to get the dub and talked with the dude on the sidelines who disappeared into thin air and unlocked a new region. I was on a streak with exploring because this indeed was the final secret area that we were after to unlock what was in the temple that we visited earlier. I lit a new shrine and meditated nearby to enter a boss fight area to fight the rolling ball we saw earlier. But this time it split in two, revealing the two dudes who controlled it. We slapped both of these dudes and collected an upgrade which increased my maximum stamina. I lit a new shrine in the corridor of fire and ice to eventually drop down into yet another boss fight area. This time we'll be fighting Fish Hui. We slapped him across the face and secured the dub. When I teleported back to the shrine in the temple, we meet the little Buddha from chapter 3 who guides us into a drawing on the wall which we can enter. I make my way up the stairs to light a new shrine and...
Shame I must greet you in this bitter
Erlang? We are going to fight Erlang? Dude, what the f... That is right, my friend. We are going to fight Erlang Shen, and this was one of, if not the hardest boss fight of this entire game. We managed to defeat the dude's first phase and we both transformed into massive creatures. We were shown the dudes from the start of the game who we now had to fight in order to defeat Erlang. And you know your boy isn't going to lose in this one because I was pumped. I felt this boss fight was overhyped for some reason because I took them down pretty easily, which later unlocked the final boss, Erlang. This fight was well worth all the times I have died in the entire game, man. Holy sh! After a tiring 10 minutes of fighting this dude, we finally were able to defeat Erlang Shen, and we were shown a majestic cutscene where we punched the dude in the face and was teleported back to the mountain where we meet Erlang yet again. But he understood that no shackles can keep John Wukong in check and handed us his weapon. With that done, I was teleported back to the temple and unknowingly I had unlocked the secret ending for this game. I took note of all the achievements that were remaining for me to collect in the new game plus and touched the stone of Sun Wukong to be teleported into his memories to watch a 10-minute cutscene of the old monkey explaining that Sun Wukong is actually dead.
After Wukong died, 5 of his 6 senses endured and were taken by the Yaoguai kings.
And we were to take his place now, if we truly are the destined one, along with collecting the final relic from Sun Wukong's soulless shell. We start strong, beating the first phase of this boss and dying on the second phase. However, that did not stop me from returning back to clap his first and his second phase. Turns out, there's a third phase. Once the empty shell was defeated for the first time, he sucked us out of all the relics and the upgrades that we have had till this point, and we had to fight this dude all over again. We died because I had no idea what I was stepping myself into, but the next time we reached this stage, I was able to clap him on the littlest of health remaining, finishing the game and unlocking the secret ending. Let's go!
What does it matter if you become a Buddha? That headband has always been on your head.
Keep those eyes wide open. Watch me rip it off and break free.
Sun Wukong, when you defied the Celestial Court, I had to seal you beneath the mountains with my immense power. Yet, after enduring punishment, you embraced the dark, uplifted good against evil, and subdued Yao Guais throughout the journey. For your contribution, I now bestow upon you the title of Victorious Fighting Buddha.
He defied the Celestial Court, and the Jade Emperor imposed 3 ordeals. Only when the chicken finishes pecking the rice, the dog laps up the flowers, and the lamp burns through the key, the rain will fall. One final toast before we crash the Celestial Palace!
With the main story completed, I felt a surge to hop in right back to start our new game plus mode to get all the achievements we have left behind. As soon as I start the game, we got 2 achievements. Hey, free achievements, boys! Since this is our second playthrough, I'll only be focusing on how to get the remaining achievements and skip the optional bosses we have fought before. I clapped Erlang and dropped into the Forest of Wolves to make my way down this river to collect our first Skanda. When that was done, I clapped Bulgard and purchased a new curio from the shop, making my way past Wandering White to fight the overgrown White Fox. Since there is an achievement to own all the armor sets and the weapons in this game, I purchased all the things that were available to me in this shrine. I clapped the boss and collected the health upgrade because we had to collect all the celestial pills to unlock yet another achievement. When that was done, I slapped some fools and made my way into a cave to talk to the horse dude, which will come in handy for this achievement. I then traveled over to talk with the old man, which will also come in handy for this achievement. I slapped the dude with titties on his head and made my way to the drunken monkey to buy the 3 goats that he had for sale in his store and made my way to defeat the white clad noble. Since there was nothing else to do in chapter 1, I slapped the living hell out of Black Myth King, twice in fact, to end chapter 1. You see, I had a total of 5 meditation spots to find for this achievement, along with 9 different enemies and characters to complete my journal for this achievement, and I knew for a fact that I didn't miss anything in chapter 2. Once that was done, I talked to the horse tied to the pole and went over to fight the 2 rats, but this time I defeated the small rat first, which encouraged the chonky rat but was defeated nonetheless. Doing that in that specific order enables us to absorb his spirit, which in turn helps us in completing this achievement. Once that was done, I had completed everything that I wanted to do in chapter 2 and slapped the final boss in order to start chapter 3. In this chapter, I had to find one meditation spot to register it in my journal, along with meeting with the horse dude, and that was it for me in this chapter. Or so I thought. You see, I had to clap 9 of these lantern dudes before fighting the disco ball to collect a reward required to complete this achievement, and as my luck would have it, these enemies did not drop the reward that I was after, which meant I had to play through the game all over again. On the bright side though, I slapped all the enemies in this chapter for our journey, so all I had to do was get through this chapter as fast as possible to start chapter 4. Once the disco ball was defeated, I travelled over to a nearby shrine and upgraded one of my armor pieces to get this achievement. I didn't know you can upgrade armor in this game. That would have been helpful. You, my friend, are a legend in disguise, because neither did I know that I can upgrade my armor. I also didn't make use of the medicines that I have been collecting. Must be intriguing for you to listen to, right? Anyway, when that was done, we free our buddy and travel over to the other side on the turtle's back, making our way to the Snake General's corpse. The reason I am doing this is because we have to collect the tear that the turtle sheds, which we find near the shore of this lake. And that, my friends, unlocks this achievement. Once that was done, I made my way up these stairs and dropped to the side of these wooden boards to find the third Skanda. I entered the Thunderclap temple and climbed some stairs to talk with the horse, which earned me yet another gold. I forgot to record this achievement, which basically was to collect the fox spirit, and when non-void was defeated, I had to go back and talk to the corpse, which unlocks this achievement. When that was done, I slapped Yellowbrow and entered chapter 4. After defeating the centipede guy, I made my way over to a big cocoon and slapped it hard with my staff to reveal the horse trapped inside. Talked to him for the 3rd time and went over to fight the odd cocoon again. This time, we only have to attack the arms on his back to earn an armor piece required for an achievement later. Once that was done, I meditated at the second last remaining meditation spot in this area and went over to slap our little buddy to proceed to the next area where we find our 4th Skanda. I then slapped the mother of spiders and went over to talk to the old man, progressing towards his achievement as well. Once that was done, I went over to fight the Venom Daoist once again, to travel over to the Purple Cloud Mountain to slap the Scorpion Lord in this realm and meditate at the last remaining spot we had for our journal. I traveled over to the dude we met in this realm in the last playthrough, and this time I slapped a bunch of dudes roaming besides him to earn the Violet Hail, which upon gifting to the dude, he decides to fight us. For some unknown reason, of course. He had no chance against John Wukong, neither in his first phase nor in his second. With that, we earn the achievement, the Wayward Ways, and with that done, we have completed everything we had to do in this chapter. So I slapped the final boss like there's no tomorrow, and on to chapter 5. I booped the same enemy off of the cliff like the last time and made my way over to a meditation spot I missed the last time I was here. With that done, I only had one meditation spot remaining to complete all the meditation spot in this game to unlock this achievement. I made my way over to the Furnace Valley and went over to pull the string and defeated the Rizzler before making my way back to the horse dude to pull his string again, this time collecting the string and unlocking a new transformation. Let's go! That took ages, my friends, for sake. It was raining achievements because as soon as we did that, we unlocked the achievement for the horse dude and the achievement to collect all the different transformations in this game. To complete the old man's achievement, we had to go back to chapter 2 to talk with him and travel back to chapter 5 to walk into a temple where we talked to him for the last time. Always accompanied. That's 64 achievements out of 81. We are on a roll, boy. To complete the achievement Souls in the Stocks, you had to defeat Fungi Man, Ginseng Guai, Elder Amorworm, 9 Campling G. Now, these are the enemies we had fought before, and the ones remaining are Fungi Woman and Mother of Flamelink. With no idea whatsoever of their location, I had to open up a guide which I'll be linking in the description of this video for anyone interested. Anyway, I made my way over to Fungi Woman and absorbed her spirit. Since we were in chapter 5 with only one remaining meditation spot to find, I went over to the chamber where we fought the Rizzler and voila! Scenic Seeker. The most marvelous places for meditations have all met your gaze. They indeed have met my gaze, game. They indeed have. With that done, I made my way over to the area where we fought the Flint Vanguard, and we had many flame boars. I dropped them in a pool of lava and out came a... I see my achievement popping out. I absorbed a spirit, unlocking the achievement that I was after in the first place. I traveled back to the valley entrance and clapped the Flint Chief, along with absorbing his spirit to then complete the frog achievement. I slapped the frog in chapter 5, chapter 1, chapter 3 and chapter 4 with the last remaining frog in chapter 6 to earn the achievement The Clamor of Frogs. I slapped chapter 6 by slapping the hand and earning the cloud to travel over to a cave to collect the final Skanda piece that we missed in the last playthrough. You see, I assumed that we'll be finding the rat dude like the last time or the time before that but no. To collect the last Skanda, you have to defeat this huge ass rock. Turns out, this was also the last Yaoguai king that we wanted for our journal entry. I said fuck it and he crushed my bones. How is anyone able to do this, bro? I thought since this was my last stretch of this game, I might as well click some photos for my wallpaper, right? I finally was able to defeat the big rock and had to climb his hand to find the rat, talking to a head. He then proceeds to remove one of his eyes and hands it over to us, which we gladly accept. And the big rock decides it is now time to wake up, throwing us off of his shoulder and goes back into, well, being a big rock. With that done, we finally had all the Skandas collected. Now I had to travel back to Zoodog in chapter 2. I bought all the recipes for medicines that he had and unlocked an achievement. Oh! Page Preserver. That was unexpected. I came here to complete the Skanda achievement, to be honest, but hey, the more the merrier, right? Along with showing the 5 Skandas that we collected throughout this playthrough, he gave us 5 Skanda pills, unlocking the achievement that we were after in the first place, along with yet another achievement called Medicine Meal. Achievement for days, man! Let's go! I took a look at my journal to check how many enemies are remaining, and turns out we only had to discover 2 for the achievement Portraits Perfected. However, I didn't record me discovering and clapping these 2 dudes. So you'll have to take my word for it when I say we got the Portraits Perfected achievement, along with 4 other achievements. I forgot to record, man. Calm your titty. Anyway, I went over to Yin Tiger and crafted all the weapons to unlock the achievement staffs and spears, along with traveling back to chapter 3 to slap enslaved Yaksha and absorb his spirit, completing the achievement with full spirit, and went after completing the achievement named Traded Tracks. I'll skip the details on this one, however, we got the achievement nonetheless. 100% completion is the goal, boys. Let's get after it. You see, I have been playing this game on a stretch since we completed the last playthrough, and my mind wasn't in the right place right now. Boopity boopity boo, who the fuck are you? You know, I could go sleep right now because it is 2:30 in the morning right now. Running on fumes, but 100% is the goal. I traveled back to Verdan path and flew this exact path and collect the last remaining armor set to unlock this achievement, Mantled with Might. That took way longer than it should have meant. Oh my lord. The two remaining achievements were collecting all Curio, aka the Lantern Dudes, and the second achievement was to collect all other achievements this game has to offer, which meant we had to start all over again. I'll skip to the part where we get the achievement. Finally, we have completed 100% of Black Myth Wukong. Let's go! If I was given $1 for every time I said let's go, I'd be able to purchase the next game that you guys want me to play to completion. Let me know in the comments down below if you wish to see a specific game completed to perfection, and I'll make that happen. Also, this video took me over 500 hours to play, record and edit the footage, and all I ask from you is to subscribe to our channel. All in all, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know if I can improve the editing or the gameplay in the comments as well. Much appreciated, fam. Thank you for tuning in.